Meeting of the Citrus County Aviation Advisory Board to order. How's everybody doing? I trust you had a good Thanksgiving. We had a nice, quiet little affair with about 40 people at the house. It was a good time. And I cooked the turkey and the ham and the potatoes for the mashed potatoes, and that's all I did. Everything else was brought in. It was a beautiful thing, very well coordinated, and a good time was had by all. Very little left over, which I was happy with. Anyway, if I could invite you all please to stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Ms. Petty.
Good afternoon. This is a regular meeting of the Aviation Advisory Board, this 11th day of December 2025. In attendance, we have Chair Heiko Kallenbach, board members Carl Douglas Flanagan, Mark Klingel, Charles Carr, Gene Davis, and Patrick Crippen. Also in attendance is Todd Regan, Aviation Project Manager, and Hannah Petty, Recording Secretary.
Thank you very much. Our Vice Chairman is not here today. Is he okay?
Yes.
Do we know?
He had other affairs that he had to attend to.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you. Gentlemen of the board, have you had a chance to review last month's minutes?
We make a motion to accept.
Thank you, sir. Do I hear a second? Second by Mark. Discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Thank you very much. Members of the public, of which I see we have a number, I do invite everybody to join us in coffee and donuts. They're always here, and there's always some left over, so please don't be shy. In the meantime, if there's anybody that has anything they'd like to bring before the board, I invite you to do so at this point. Everybody's shy today. Okay. Usually we have a bunch of new business, a bunch of old business, and we have managed to tidy just about all of that up such that we have no new or old business, just a bunch of projects to talk about and update us on. Meanwhile, hangar status report. We have a couple of vacancies and a whole long wait list. I assume these vacancies will be filled in short order.
Correct.
Okay, good deal. Nothing from the Board of County Commissioners. On to projects. Runway 927 extension at Crystal River seems to be going according to plan. No updates on that?
Actually, the recent update is that the F8 has received our draft EA with some comments. A lot of it's just grammatical, adding for a little bit more information, things like that. So the first round of draft, we're replying with our comments, and we're going to send it back.
Great. Fuel tank replacement, we have some updates there.
We do. We had a few meetings since our last AEB meeting to discuss some of our challenges with supply and equipment. If you can imagine that these tanks that are being constructed or are purchased take anywhere from 8 to 12 months. So supply is kind of running this project. And the last thing we want to do is start piecemealing this project to where the fuel farm could be shut down for longer than what it actually needed to be. So we're working through that with our contractors and trying to find a good schedule and see what can work out. And whenever we have that, you will be notified.
Great. Any options in particular for when fuel tanks do go offline as far as continuing to provide fuel?
That's a great question. There's a few options. I have spoken with James Chen, and his fuel supplier. We're all working together to ensure that when the fuel tanks do go down, that we have temporary fuel to keep that flowing when people arrive.
Envisioning these long rows of these red 5-gallon tanks. I guess it'll be something more than that.
Yes, it will be something a lot more than that. Some refueling trucks, things like that.
Got it. All right, thank you.
I've got a comment for you, Todd. Since we know that it's going to take that time frame in order to be able to get this accomplished, if you could keep in mind going forward for the Inverness FBO that whenever the time gets close to it, the time frame that we need to start that process in order to be able to have it accomplished, so that we're not having to shift things around to keep the fuel flowing.
Absolutely. And
Just about.
that project and grant should be next year, start the process and start looking at replacing that system or going into that project late of next year. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Along those same lines, I understand that the Crystal Rivers, Crystal Air Group's fuel truck or trucks are currently down, and airplanes are having to go through the fuel farm itself to fuel up. Is there? Does the county have any input into that, or do they provide any help, or is the FBO themselves responsible for maintaining and repairing any issues with the fuel trucks?
That is it's James' responsibility to manage his fuel trucks. I've identified a few issues with the farm that we can keep it going. Grounding wires, one of the sump pumps needs a hose replacement. Of course, we don't mind taking care of things like that, make sure we're safe and compliant. But the trucks themselves, James seems to, he has a handle of that. And I think he purchased another truck, maybe it was about a year ago, to help out, whether it's for parts or as a backup to 100 low lead, I think, or Jet A. I can't remember.
My understanding is that the 172s are still having to taxi over to the tank themselves, to the tank itself for fuel.
He's, I believe he's waiting on a technician. He's in the queue to have one of the trucks serviced, and I think it's gonna be a while just to get out and change filters and things like that, get it calibrated.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? Any updates on the Crystal River Aegis survey?
There is not.
Okay. Crystal River lighting replacement.
Yes, FDOT responded to my email. They said that we can't do a direct purchase. I got that email today. So I'm seeing what the next steps are to move that forward.
Inverness Business Park.
All right. Contractor has been awarded a few days ago. BOCC recognized CIC as the contractor for phase 2. And we're tentatively planning for a pre-con, hopefully in late January, early February, around that time frame. And hopefully we start pushing dirt in February and get this moving. Big project.
Excellent. Well done. Do we have a completion date? I know we had the groundbreaking on the 12th and so forth. Do we have a typical phase 1, there's still nothing built. Is that true?
Correct. Phase 1 is complete. And then phase 2, tentatively about Q1 of 27.
Okay. Inverness Corporate Hangar?
Yes.
No updates?
Yeah, there is an update, a memo of understanding between both parties, the county and Livewire. That memo has been signed by Livewire. It's going back for our signature, and then that's just to notify each party that there is a lease holding us accountable, and then moving forward from 60% design. Hopefully we can get 100%, go out to bid, and start that process as soon as possible.
Sounds good. An update on the DBE,
The master plan.
Master
right?
Plan and Disadvantaged Business Enterprise.
Okay. Yeah, developing facility requirements, addressing FAA comments, and waiting for approval from aviation activity forecasts. In the future, we are going to have some meetings as well, and one of the first ones is going to be with the AAB, and we're looking at that tentatively probably February of next year.
And to go over what specifically?
These forecasts, an introduction to this master plan, kind of getting to know these consultants, and kind of a kickoff for everyone, and what the process is going to look like.
Okay. Comments from anybody so far? The fire station, not an aviation-led project.
No, but happy to have it. the last meeting was weeks ago, and there seemed to be some right-of-way issues when they were designing the building itself, England Boulevard, 41, minor, but just more of a design issue, really, making sure that the right-of-ways are identified, and also, believe this or not, where a dumpster is located on a project apparently is a big deal. And yeah,
Downwind or upwind from the coffee station makes a big deal.
there is, yeah, but just imagine if a truck has to come in and pick up the garbage, how is that going to be possible? And if you just place it anywhere willy-nilly, this guy might do a 27-point turn just to try to get a dumpster. And if they have to do that, then they're probably not going to want to pick up service. So dumpsters can really push a project. So that was identified as well. And getting that fixed, and then the utilities, some of the connections and the compatibilities of that for the fire station.
Okay, thank you. The Inverness and Crystal River AWAS replacement.
Same request was sent to FDOT. If we can direct purchase these materials, that'll save us money for sure. And we got that approval, and just seeing what the next step is, so we can move forward with this project for sure.
Going on Amazon and buying one then?
I wish it was that easy, but it is not.
All right, fair enough. Thank you.
You said they approved the direct purchase?
They did. As long as you follow the grant and it's very specific, we're fine, but we can definitely do that. Save on.
Why didn't they approve the other one?
They did.
Oh, I thought you said they
It,
did
it
not.
was in the same email, just it was two different projects, same email.
Oh, gotcha. So they both were approved for direct
Correct.
purchase. Okay, gotcha.
Very good. On to minor projects, airport signage.
Oh, yes. Airport signage. We're using the approved BOCC renderings for the monument signs for the county, and making sure that is incorporated somehow with the airports. And of course, the AAB will have, when we have those renderings as well, we'll bring those forward. We'll make sure we have City of Inverness involved, and Crystal River as well, and eventually to the end of BOCC. Just making sure that, it could be down to color schemes, whether to use steel, brick, things like that for these signs. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
As am I. Ionospheric experiment. Nothing new?
Nothing new there.
Okay. Electric meter retrofit.
This is what the tenants want to know about.
Yeah.
Email was sent out for the tenants for the T-hangers at Crystal River and at Inverness. That includes right now the county ran T-hangers. So what we're going to do is that we've heard the calls from the tenants, and we're moving forward with a gang meter. So that's going to take the responsibility off of the individual tenants themselves having to pay that connection fee every month. I think it's about $38. And some of these tenants only use a couple kilowatts worth of power. Maybe they're a weekend warrior, or they're flying all the time, but they're not using a lot of power. Just run the hydraulics, turn on the lights. That's really about it. So it's not really fair. So we're going to take on that responsibility, and hopefully that should be starting next month. Make sure we have all the permits.
So when you say gang meter, as in Duke will have one central meter, so one connection charge,
That's correct.
that'll be nice. Okay.
They bill the county, and then the county allocates that to the tenants?
Right now, the county is going to be billed, but how that reflects on the tenants, I'd have to read the lease, but I don't believe so.
Built into the rental for the future?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Will you build in the charges to the rent?
I don't believe so. I think the lease specifically addresses that. Yep.
Okay. With that being said, the leases that are already in place are not written for where we're going to be going to in January, correct?
Well, there's two active leases right now. There's the old lease and then our new lease. The new lease addresses whether or not the county is managing the electricity or if it's the individual tenant. The old lease is just the tenant himself. So when this does get into effect, we're going to have to amend those leases properly until that tenant's up for his renewal, and whether or not they want to continue to be a tenant, then they'll go on to the new lease, which will show that the county is managing electricity.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Just to let you know, it also shows that when someone does leave, unfortunately, if they have to leave, that the power still stays on. We can check things, inspect things with the power on. That's been a big problem for us, is that when a new tenant comes in, I can't even turn the lights on or activate the hydraulics. So, yeah.
Anybody else? Okay, that's it for the projects. Members of the board, as you know, Patrick brought forth the idea of last month of a concept that with Withlacoochee Tech is working to develop an A&P program here in Citrus County. And at your direction, I've met with Colleen Whitehurst, Jason Busey, and other members of their teams to sort of hear what they had to say. And I invited them to come this time around and make that same presentation to you folks. I found it quite interesting, quite illuminating. As we talked about last month, back in 2022. Gloria Bishop, who was running at WTC at the time, had started going down this road. And again, at this board's direction, we had written a letter to the state of Florida endorsing that and endorsing the grant application that they had made. And now it looks as though things are moving ahead. So invited Ms. Whitehurst and Mr. Busey to come and speak to you today and talk about what they have. I think we have a presentation as well written. So, Colleen Whitehurst, you're up.
Good afternoon. I am actually Colleen Strickland. And
Strickland, I'm so sorry.
but there was a famous actress, Colleen Dewhurst. Anyway, thank you so much for having me today. Thank you to the board and also to the members of the audience. And Mr. Regan, thank you for getting us on the agenda today. I appreciate the time that you spent with us. So like Mr. Kallenbach said, I am the new director at Withlacoochee Technical College. I've just been in the state for about 5 months. And one of the reasons that I was selected to be the director of Withlacoochee Tech was because I have a history of building programs. And so as I've been there for the last 5 months, we've just been exploring programs that we can expand our college, grow with Citrus County, and elevate the profile of Citrus and meet the needs of our community. And one of the areas that we identified was aviation with the airframe and power plant programs. And just a little bit of my history. Before I came here, I spent 23 years in Sumter County in education. And then I spent the last 4 years, most recently in North Carolina. And in North Carolina, I established a high school AOPA You Can Fly Academy. And so the students were earning their FAA written pilot's exam. And then we had a partnership with the airport where we had a Cessna that we were able to rent for the cost of fuel, and the local pilots who were flight instructors donated their time so that the students could start logging their 40 hours. We also had a significant simulator lab that we put on place in the high schools. And so within my first 2 weeks of being at Withlacoochee Technical College, Patrick Crippen reached out, asked for a meeting. He and Jason Busey came to meet with me, and they gave me a whole pitch on why we should have an A&P program, not knowing that I had a little special place in my heart for that type of program too. And so from there, momentum just continued to build. And so we've spent the last 3 months just exploring the opportunity. What's available? Is there an interest? Is there support? How did other technical colleges in Florida do this? And so we have reached out to Manatee Tech. They're just south of Sarasota. They have an A&P program. They're on the Sarasota airport site. We reached out to Marion Tech, Ocala. They are working on opening their A&P program. We also reached out to Lively Tech in Tallahassee. Theirs has been established and running for a long time. And then Travis Tech down in Polk County. Sun and Fun, fly in, pretty cool stuff there. We reached out to them to see how they moved forward with their program. And so one of the things that all of them told us is that they started with legislative appropriations. And those appropriation requests ranged anywhere from $1.5 million to $5 million. And then Mr. Kallenbach reached out to me and asked if I knew anything about the previous grants that had been submitted. And like any new person in a new position, we started going through the archives. And so we were able to find that grant that Mrs. Bishop had been working on, and it lined perfectly with the same type of vision that we have in place. And so it's nice to see that work had already been put into place. So one of the nice things about Withlacoochee Technical College is we are fully accredited through the Council on Occupational Education. And so that means that we are eligible for financial aid. So our students who come to us would be eligible for Pell grants. They could use their VA benefits, the GI Bill. They could use any of the Florida waivers. So students who are homeless, students who've been adopted from the Florida foster care system, they would have waivers for their tuition. So it would become incredibly affordable. Another thing is, since we're fully accredited, we have curriculum that is already established by the state of Florida that we can offer for our students. And so I've put that in the folder for you. There's 2 courses. One is the airframe, and the second is the power plant. They have one course that's in common between the 2, and that would be the general technician. So potentially, students could complete the A&P program in 18 months. Each course would be under $7,000 total for them. One thing that's a barrier for us is timeline. Of course, we'd like to work as quickly as possible, but we would need to get the FAA approval for our program. And so that would require a consultant for us to be able to walk through that process. We have heard from all 4 technical colleges that we reached out to that that's absolutely essential. And then Jason and his team were gracious enough to go ahead and research for us all of the technical equipment that we would need. And so we have 2 price quotes. You don't always have to have the most expensive thing, but if you're going to get started, we'd like to be an aviation center of excellence. And so, of course, I like the bigger quote of all of the things. So we have that available, and we have a timeline of what we would need to do. And so all of the schools that we contacted said it took about 18 months to stand up a program. And so that first 18 months would be applying for your FAA certification, getting our approval from our accreditation agency, because in an ideal world, we would be hosting this course out at either Crystal River or Inverness Airport in a partnership and have a hangar. And then we could also use classroom space back at Withlacoochee Technical College. So if we were hosting off-site, then we would need to apply for a satellite campus. We can do that. It's paperwork and time. We do that. And then we'd also need to just look at the curriculum, the staffing, the facilities, lease agreements, insurance, all of those types of things. And then, in my mind, we would start the program in August of 27. and be ready to go. It might take just a little bit longer than that. Miss Bully always has a heart attack when I say that. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't get started. So I've also put in just an executive summary that shows, of course, the job demand, the need, the starting salary, and just a preliminary budget. And it lines up with what Mrs. Bishop had looked at, but it's just a little bit more because we're a few years out. So another consideration that Jason Busey and his team brought to my attention is the equipment has to be manufactured. And so in order to do that, it's a 25% down payment, and then it could take 8 to 10 months to have that equipment available. So that's just some types of things that could impact the timeline for us. So it's a super exciting opportunity. Of course, as soon as Ms. Cozy heard about this at the last meeting, she came out and met with us. And we had an opportunity to look at how we could do a pipeline for high school. So high school students could potentially complete all of their high school graduation requirements by the end of 11th grade. Not graduate yet, but meet those criteria. So every senior has to take English 4 and economics and econ. Or no, those are the same, economics and government. And so if they could take those in the summer after their junior year, they could come to WTC full time. They could complete the first 450 hours, and then they can enroll the next semester and be done in 6 months. And so that's an incredible opportunity for an 18-year-old. And then we also, yes, the starting salary is incredible. And so we could also look at what happens before that senior year, right? Because you're going to need to have some advanced math, some advanced science. So how do we get their interest in it to where that they know they want to come out and be a part of this aviation academy? Mr. Bayham, he also came out to our advisory council and spoke about what's happening with economic development in the airport and the goals of the county, because, there's always those people who question, do we need this? Where are the jobs going to be? And so he was able to speak to that nature perfectly. And then we also have been able to talk about how the AMP program could be itinerant work for our students once they graduate. So if the airplane breaks down in Atlanta, they fly to Atlanta, and then they fix that and they go to the next place as they need to. But they could still live here in Citrus County. Or maybe it's parts that come in, we repair them, we ship them back out. So there's so many opportunities I'm sure that you all are far more aware of than what I've been able to explain in just a short period of time. So that's what we are looking at. We'd like to move forward. We'd like to get a legislative request. We'd like to get some hangar space. We would like to be able to go ahead and put down the 25% and get the equipment started. And then as the Florida Job Growth Grants come available, we'd like to be ready to go with our application and just submit those applications just as quickly as possible. So right now we have a plan. We have a budget. We just need money. Time and money. Surprise.
The world go round.
So,
Question.
with that, questions?
Yeah. Do you want to mention or touch base on the military for the guys and girls that are coming out of the military? What would be offered?
Yes, we could take some of their work experience from their service time, and it would count towards some of the curriculum. So they would be able to move forward with their hours, and then we could do some of the advanced training with them. So one of the things we talked about was like the strength testing, those types of certifications. Is that what you were meaning?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a huge opportunity to get more military people in our county that are retired that maybe want to, start a new career.
Yes, and that's one of the things that's the beauty about with Lacoochee Technical College is our students vary. They vary from your 17, 18-year-old high schoolers who are coming for dual enrollment. Then you've got your people who've just graduated. You've got your young parents with little kids. You've got your people in the middle who are taking care of their kids and they're taking care of their parents. And then you've got this whole group of veterans who may have just come out or are in their retirement age, and they are trying to learn something new and contribute. And so it's really an interesting way to look at the students, because they kind of all mentor each other along because they're in all these different spaces in life.
Could you mention something about the additional courses, like the specialty courses?
I could not, but I think Mr. Busey could.
Yeah, let's make sure we have no other questions for Mrs. Strickland. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Yes,
I
yes.
don't know where that came from.
I do have something to say, if I may. And besides the school itself, something to also look into that are many people that have retired from the military that they used their time in, and instead of going to a school, they also could get their airframe and power plant license using their 30 months. So the school also being able to provide those tests and study materials and being able to have an on-site DME, designated mechanic examiner, all in one house is another avenue that I would recommend as well.
Yes, that is perfect. I'm so glad you said that. And we do. We have a our own testing center. We do all of our credentials through Pearson, through Cognia, any type of nationally recognized testing agency that we have a credential for now. Our testing lab is our center is set up for that. So that would definitely be something that we would want to have in place. We don't want anybody going anywhere else. We want to keep it all in-house, because we want to be a center of excellence, right? So,
Charlie, you had something.
Yeah, will there be somebody on staff that can provide the recommendation and the sign-off to take the FAA's written and practical test?
yes, that would be the instructors. They would be responsible for that. And then we could also contract, if we needed to, with a consultant to be able to make those recommendations. What were you thinking about that?
I'm sorry?
Did you have something that you had in mind for how that would
No,
work?
I it's like going to law school. You can't practice law until you pass a bar.
Right.
So we need to get these people so that they have a complete path to a job.
Yes.
But you're saying that you'll have the designated mechanic examiner in-house.
Yes.
Good deal. Anybody else? Well, thank you so much. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Heiko. Ms. Strickland, just a question. Citrus High has an Air Force ROTC. Has there been any conversation or discussion about the opportunity that may be available to for those that are going through the ROTC program? Obviously, they're going to go on to college, but there's an opportunity to be able to have a conversation with them and also for the Department of the Air Force to provide some type of a funding mechanism that you may have available. Now, I don't know the answer to that. I'm just tossing that out as something to consider.
I think I'm so glad that you recommended that, because that actually, we didn't talk about that when you came out to see me about the JROTC being Air Force at Citrus High School. So I think that's something that we definitely need to explore. And that, in my mind, that's part of that pathway of leading them up to, and then you're going to come out and do our A&P program at your senior year. So we'd have to probably work around that. But I think that's a wonderful partnership. That's something that I need to explore.
And not saying that there is, but again, having those that are credentialed, obviously the Air Force would be very appropriate if it's permissible,
Right.
to work in tandem or at the need. That if you don't have someone that they do, again, it's just building those connections to create the opportunities for the students.
Right. Absolutely. And that's one of the questions people ask me too. They said, well, are you going to be able to hire someone? Like, well, how will I know if I can hire someone if I don't have a program that I'm starting? Like, is it the chicken or the egg? Like, I need to have a program so that I can say that I'm going to hire someone, and I need to be able to have a program so I can tell somebody they can have a job, and I need to have students who want to take that program. So it's all interconnected, of course. But we know it's high demand, it's high wage. Get the right people in there. And then that's how we stay accredited, is that we get students placements and that they earn the credentials. If we have programs that students don't earn the credentials and they're not getting hired, then we can't have the program because we won't be accredited, and then we won't be eligible for financial aid. And that's not a very good business model. So those are definitely data points that we are trying to meet all the time. So I will reach out to Citrus High School and see what we can do for a partnership with that. Okay. Okay, all right.
I think all the schools have a ROTC, don't
Yeah,
they?
they do.
They do, but they're specific.
Correct.
Army,
I think there's a Navy,
and Air Force.
but still, it might be an avenue to capture some funding for the kids.
Right.
Might want to check with all of them.
Absolutely.
They all have aviation.
Absolutely.
Right.
I would check with all of them, but that's just me.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that avenue. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I just encourage you, and previously I sat on the board at Nature Coast EMS. We trained our own EMTs and paramedics. But what we found was at the high school level that we were trying to recruit out of, there was very little knowledge at that level of that they had the opportunity to get this amount of pay and whatever, and the program on how to get through it. So I would encourage you, especially on this, that if the students need to be educated on what those opportunities are, if they just take advantage of them, because there was a big discourse between the two. That one didn't know that we provide these services, we provide this licensing, and that they could make a good living at it. But it was just the education process. Let them know, because you want those students over there, but they need to know what's available and the opportunities they have.
Yes, 100%. And that was kind of the thing that Mrs. Cozy and I had talked about too, is the beauty of with Withlacoochee Technical College is it's certificate programs. And so you get right into the content that you're wanting to learn. So it's 50% book work, 50% in the lab, on the floor, working with the equipment. Whereas students are not necessarily interested in going to their 2-year degree and doing humanities and doing a little bit of theater and doing a little bit of science. They want to get right out there, they want to get done, and they want to get into the workforce. And that's what we offer at Withlacoochee Tech. And these courses, should they decide they want to get an AA or a bachelor's degree later, they articulate. And so they will be able to take credit to State College or university if they want to. But in the meantime, they can be working, can get done.
Well, thank you so very much.
Yes.
Mr. Busey, would you like to talk about what you bring to the table?
Yes, thank you guys for having me. My name is Jason Busey. I'm with Capable Aviation Solutions. We're currently consulting for WTC about putting the AMTS in Citrus County. I've got about 30 years in aviation. And by the way, we're talking about the Air Force. I'm an Army guy. I started out working on UH-60 Black Hawk helicopters and then moved my way into quality control management, and then now owning my own business when it comes to aviation. Some of the things that we did not really discuss was some of the crossover that can be done with the specialty training that's done in aviation. One of those being non-destructive testing, or NDT. That, I assume all of you are either pilots or mechanics, understand that fatigue cracks and doing non-destructive testing on your aircraft is critically important. However, it doesn't just extend to aircraft. It could be done in civil. X-rays on bridges, buildings. The theme parks in Florida use NDT inspectors all the time. And it's incredibly high paying, and it's something that can be dovetailed into the curriculum at WTC to enhance that education, on top of the fact that there's no other school out there that does it. WTC would be the only one that I know of in the state of Florida that offers the NDT course along with the AMTS and the AMP course. The other is advanced composites. And when you get through an advanced composite class, it's stronger than steel and it's used in all industries. All right, whether from your car to cooking utensils in your house. Once they finish that, they would have a basic understanding of advanced composites and go to work in the marina putting boats back together. So it's a really great opportunity for this county. It's a great opportunity for our citizens, and it's a great opportunity for the school. And I'm really looking forward to working with them and making sure that this happens. I would hope that a recommendation from the advisory board to the county so that we can move forward with that. Not to mention a very low cost lease for the classroom and hangar. That's basically all I have, unless you guys have some questions for me.
Yeah, I've got one. The AMP and the IA at the Crystal Aero Group are regularly do magnetic particle and also penetrant inspection. And I think there's probably ultrasonics and several other disciplines that would also be applicable to aircraft maintenance.
Right. There's 4 of them.
Yeah, and so would that be, could that be folded into the AMP course?
Absolutely. And that's what I'm hoping that WTC would be able to do in the future.
Yeah, I came from the nuclear industry, and the qualification for those people is pretty strict.
It's very strict. It requires about a 40-hour course per discipline, and then after that, it's several hundred hours to make your level 1. So from level 1 to level 2 is a lot of time and a lot of OJT.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Are you looking at avionics? We have electronics courses. AMP requirement is an AMP requirement in order to be avionics also.
Sure.
So even if you molded a couple of those classes where those students could learn some of it.
Part of the AMP course will be avionics and electrical. Now, there's a lot of schools out there that also offer the FCC certification. Mm-hmm. For an aircraft mechanic. It's worthless. That's
It is.
It's the reality of it, right? And the schools will charge them more money to get the certification that they will never need. But as far as the avionics is concerned, that's all part of it. They'll learn how to what a capacitor is, how many volts it holds. I mean, it's all part of that. To include the equipment that we've helped them figure out what they wanted, the top of the line when it comes to ILS systems, automated controls, whatever. We've painstakingly gone through there and said, okay, these are all the important things. Our partner with the business is an avionics technician, and he was very meticulous about what he'd want to pick up for equipment.
And then, Jason, I don't mean to interrupt you, but the avionics course, there's a separate course.
That's what I'm saying.
Avionics. That would be a third program. And then we also can look at control tower as well. And so that would be maybe phase 4 to add in from there. And that would be a separate program. It would be fully financial aid fundable, VA fundable.
Don't forget about the pilots.
Yeah, well, and I still want to have that high school aviation program too.
Anything else?
There was a point in time, to your point, with respect to that Crystal Aero Group offered an annual scholarship to a high school senior that would be able to complete their private pilot license within the time frame of their senior year. I don't know if they're still doing that.
They are, but they've limited it to the scholarship is worth $5,000 now.
Okay, so it's a limited amount of money.
Yeah, so the student would probably end up putting in another 5, and assuming it goes that way.
Okay, all right. So the scholarship now is for half of a private pilot certificate.
I will tell you, I just want to bring something up that the cost for that school at being $7,000 is incredibly cheap.
Yes.
It's incredibly cheap. If you look around at the schools that are around us, I think NAA charges 40-something thousand, I believe, to get their AMP.
St. Pete is 65,000.
Crazy. I did mine through the Army.
Any more questions for Mr. Busey?
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you both. From my vantage point, I think it's a very exciting opportunity. I'm glad to see you carrying on with Miss Bishop's original dream. We're going to get to a point later on in the meeting today where we'll have some board discussion on this. And
Joe would like to talk, I think, on some.
oh, please.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm not dressed appropriate. I just got through feeding staff at the district annual
Mr.
Christmas party.
Cozy has a sport coat if you'd like to borrow.
Thank you. I usually am in a shirt and tie. My name's Joe Faherty. I'm with Citrus County School Board. I'm also a graduate of WTC, but of the Law Enforcement Academy. So Pat brought me into this, but prior to that, I was working at WTC with Gloria Bishop. So this does go back. I cannot speak on behalf of the board, and because of Sunshine Law, I can't even discuss it with them at this point. But I know I've talked to Dr. Hebert, and the school board is interested very much so in this. And I think it would be very beneficial to our county, to our community, to our students, and give them some value and some goals for the future as we bring it to them. Bring something that they have no knowledge of. And I know when I went to college, and I have a master's degree in business, that if I knew of something like this that would have sparked my interest, I would have probably changed my career. But I appreciate your support on this. And like I said, I can't talk on behalf of the school board, but as the chairman of the board, I know that they invited me in to do it, and I'm going to do everything in my power to see that this goes forward on behalf of the school. So thank you.
Thank you. To your point, my wife's a veterinarian in Citrus County, and she recently, a few weeks ago, I think, attended a jobs day at Crystal River High School.
High School, we have a veterinary assistant program there, as
Right.
well as an EMT program there, the Phil Royal EMT program. We have a construction and the CT program. And I was just on the radio the other day, and that's what I was boasting about, what we have. And I gave them a little hint of some of this that's maybe on the forefront, because I really truly believe in it. And when I sat with Miss Bishop years ago, I got excited about it, saying, hey, maybe as a retired cop, I could find a new career. But I appreciate it, and I appreciate everyone here that's really considering helping us with this program. Thank you.
Well, what I wanted to say to that is that she came home that night telling me about it and was a little bit surprised at how little the students knew of some of these opportunities. They would come in and say, wow, I didn't know I could do this. So yeah, I think the more we can bring awareness of all the various opportunities that Citrus County provides. Obviously, we want to provide those opportunities in the first place, but then making sure that the students from early on, even in the middle schools, know that this is out there for you if you want it, and it's going to be, it can be almost 100% paid for to an extent in one way or another. So, and here's what you get if you become this, if you get into this job or that job or the other job. So the more we can do to communicate, not only at the high school level, but even at the middle school level, I think the better. And that, of course, school board is going to be right on top of that sort of,
Correct.
those sort of processes.
As I walked in with Ms. Bowl, I just left Renaissance Center, which is my background. I was a school resource officer there. I said, we really need to educate them of goals and things like this for the future, because some of those kids are great kids. In fact, one of my old students is working there as a teacher assistant over there that went to Renaissance Center years ago. And I just really think that if we inform them that there are things ahead, that they could do as a career and a goal, to reach that goal and to get in there to tell them what's out there. But I truly appreciate you guys thinking about this, talking about this, and Mr. Crippen for inviting me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Absolutely.
And I got a book post on her because she came in like a rock star with new ideas and new programs, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Going a little bit out of order here, since we're on this topic, is anybody else from the public have anything they'd like to add about a program such as this? This topic specifically. We'll get to general public in a little bit.
Hi, Barry Simons, EAA Chapter 1674. I'd just like to really bring up that our chapter would like to be involved with this as well, because that's part of what we do. We fly kids in Young Eagles, and we'd like to also be able to educate them on what opportunities in aviation in general. They're there right there, and have the marketing available so we can know them, hey, this is available to you. Get them knowing about it. Because some of them, they don't, we've had parents show up, they didn't even know the airport existed. And that's what we've been doing with our community outreach, is to get people to understand what there is to do at the airport. It's not just for planes going, there's a lot more that can go on there. And it'd be great if we could get a facility there where we have, a plane that can be taken apart, kids can learn on it. Other high schools have actually done that with EA chapters, and to help get kids interested as well. And our chapter also has done scholarships. We've already got one student that's gone through the scholarship for a pilot's license, and we've got another one coming up. But we'd love to even look into the opportunities for a maintenance side as well, too. We just didn't have the opportunity right now. So that would be really beneficial. So we appreciate everything that's moving forward on this and hope to see it. And that we're involved as well, too, keeping up what's going on so we can educate the general people who come into our area and let them know the opportunities that are coming up so they can start thinking about it. And what we get youth as young as 8 years old, so getting them starting there. So they're already planning for that.
Our favorite thing to do is give tours of our facility.
Yes. Thank you.
And it is incredible. When I had the high schoolers, their parents would come out to the airport, and no one in the family had ever flown before, that there was their child taken off in a Cessna because they had practiced so many hours on the simulator, and they were so familiar with that airport and everything in the area. There was just tears in their eyes. And then, of course, they would land, they'd look at their mom and say, "Can I drive home?" And she'd say, "No."
We got some of the kids are like, "Can we go again? Can we go again?" It's like, you got to give other kids a turn. You can come, but we do get repeats, and that's a good thing. So it shows it definitely is interest in aviation in this community, because we see people coming back for more, and then we keep adding to their logbook. So they're definitely interested and want to continue on, and we want them to know every opportunity that's available to them. Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else?
Rusty.
I saw other hands go up. They can jump in front of me. Will Cozy. I'm the vice president of Barry for the EAA chapter there in Inverness, and also the other side of Miss Cozy that's helping you in the school system. But I wanted to tell you that yes, the ROTC program is in fact interested. They do have simulators in the classroom, so they're not Redbud, but they do have simulators there, and they're actually. With my wife being there and us being so involved with aviation and where we're at with things, and being involved with Colleen and others, she's spoken or worked with, started working with Dr. Hebert and others. We touched base with Patrick when we met last time. So this was a dream of ours when we got started working on things in the local area. Maybe a foreshadow of things to come, but I know that each of the FBOs have a lease agreement with them that expires at some time. Let me just leave that right there. But I wanted to let you know, the question of if, yes, she has at least 2 students that are already ready and interested, waiting to see where this is going to come to. There are students that are out there that are ready to go with this. It's just going to be us waiting to get the things in order so that they can be. Right now, their choices are Ocala, I think Lakeland, and I think there's one other that's close by. If you wanted to try to start putting pins on the dartboard, what's right in the middle? Mm-hmm. Us. So I look forward to this opportunity, and where we can, as a partner, as a company. I also have a engineering consulting business that I've moved down here from South Carolina. So we're looking at what we can do to also help out in the area, because we love aviation. I fly back and forth. That's my mode of transportation. I'm still working some in South Carolina, and I fly back and forth to be here with my family. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm Rusty Skinner with Career Source Citrus Levy Mirror, and I'll address a couple of the points. Certainly, your point about educating young people about what's available in the community is a very big issue. We have been partnering with the school district, well, all 3 of our school districts over the past probably 5 or 6 years creating what we call career expos. And we work with 8th and 9th graders in that as well as seniors. And in the early stages, it's really having businesses come in and talk about what they do, what they make, to try to educate those young people. We work with them on a couple of different variations of workshops during that time. And then with the older students, of course, we're trying to prep them up for jobs as they graduate. We are also very supportive of the aviation efforts that are going on in this county, as well as there's aviation efforts going on in Ocala, as well as some very fledgling efforts going on in Levy County right now. The College of Central Florida is looking into drones and drone education. So there's a bunch of stuff going on right now. I think our biggest job is to try to get employers engaged in that process. We would appreciate any employer who's interested in coming and talking to young people to be part of the Career Expo process. It's an excellent opportunity. You'd be amazed at how the young people come out of that with, we see it, renewed vigor, if you will, in terms of the career opportunities that are out there. I just wanted to make that comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody else from the board have something to say?
No, I'd just like to reiterate what Rusty said, and I said earlier. I know I'm also a general contractor. The trades industry out there, it's a deficit big time of qualified HVAC, electrician, plumbers. We can't get them.
We do that at WTC as well.
You're right. That's a big, but we need to educate the younger people. They don't realize the dollars they can make. I mean, they're going to come out and they're going to make more than you do to go ahead and get a 4-year degree. They just don't understand that, especially if they will mentor under a tradesman and get licensed. It's just unlimited, but they just got to understand and grasp that it's no longer just a blue collar job. It's big dollars.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The one thing that I will say too is that it would be good if with Lakuchi Tech, and maybe you've thought of this, maybe that's already in the works, but partnering with potential employers, folks that are in fact on a regular basis looking for, whether we're talking airlines, whether we're talking maintenance contractors, or anything in between.
Actually, we do. We have our PAC, they're called our PAC members, our program advisory committees.
Mm-hmm.
They meet some twice a year, mostly just annually, and they just go over what are the trends in industry specific to HVAC, electricity, welding, so we do keep that in touch. And if anybody wants to join our PAC, you're more than welcome.
As far as aviation is concerned, the airlines are rolling into all of these schoolhouses right now and writing contracts for mechanics before they've even graduated. They're looking at close to a 30,000 employee deficit within the next 2 years.
And that's the sort of thing that we really need to again impress upon high school students, local high school students, that this is an opportunity, and if there's a robust partnership between with Lakuchi Tech and these various airlines and other such companies, I think that'll be a beautiful thing. And just as an example, ATP flight schools are around the country, and you go there and you spend a year or so going from zero to hero, as they say, zero time all the way up to flight instructor. And at that point, they have partnered with a number of regional airlines, where the airlines come in and they interview the students while they're each still working on their flight instructor license. And they start looking at them and start potentially saying, I think I'm going to want to hire you when you get enough hours to work for me. So in the meantime, let me help you by defraying a little bit of your student loan cost for the flying portion, and let's check in at 500 hours, at 1,000 hours, and so forth. And those sorts of partnerships, I think, make a real big difference in attracting students to a particular program.
So, one last thing. Will Cozy, EAA chapter vice president. I would propose, so that we don't lose this on track, that we put something that we could track this, maybe some status over time, Where are we in the processing? Where are we in the legislation? Where are we in the, just from an aviation board's interest? But if not, all we're going to get is what we got last time that we proposed. This was a great meeting. Everybody's interested and everybody's on board. Withlacoochee going to go and start doing their processes. My wife will definitely be involved with it. Actually, she's created a whole presentation with Aviation Pathway, which does provide JetBlue and other people as far as resources that could come in and provide some of those. And several different other schools, including the one that just opened, or that's been started in Kissimmee. I've forgotten the guy's name that came and did the presentation last. I put you on the spot, sorry, Barry. But we had an AMP come in and do a presentation about ELTs. A whole presentation. I mean, I learned things. It was great. But anyway, you never think about that little box that sits in the back very much. But anyway, so I propose as a citizen, just to be that we consider that as part of the board or advisory board to put something on the schedule or on the agenda, so that at some point in rotation of time we might be able to keep track and keep up with this.
Does that mean Colleen has to come in every month and give us an update?
Oh, not every month. No way. She's so busy. I'm telling you, the whole staff is so busy.
I have a comment.
Thank you.
Yeah, please.
So I want to thank everybody for coming. I know that for each of us, aviation is extremely important. Joe and I had careers in law enforcement. I was honored and lucky enough to be able to do that flying while I carried a gun, so that was pretty amazing. I think the most important thing is that we train these kids, because 99% of them are probably going to be kids. That safety is the underlying factor of everything. We don't need to go out and have any kind of fatalities or anything like that, because these kids nowadays are a different breed than what were 10, 15 years ago. With that being said, I don't, and you can correct me because you're the man, but I don't believe that the advisory board has a big checkbook that we can write a check for. If we did, we probably would. But I want to make a motion, and I don't know if this is the right time to do it or not.
You have a motion, please.
I would like for us to rewrite the letter that we wrote before for the grant, because I'm assuming that we were all on board for that before. So it sounds like that should be something that would be feasible and reasonable to do. And then I think that we probably need to draft some sort of letter to the Board of County Commissioners and to the school board, stating that as an advisory board in aviation, that we recommend that the county move forward to do this. And then attach maybe some dates to where we can kind of re-meet every 90 days to see if it's dying on the vine or if there's something going on. That's what I would like to do. So basically it would be 3 things in one motion, or 3 motions: the letter of the grant, a letter to the school board, and a letter to the county commissioners.
Okay.
I'd be glad to second that motion.
All right. We have a maker and a seconded discussion.
I think it's great.
Okay.
Just add.
You said a letter for a grant, a letter for the BOCC, and a letter for the school board?
Yeah, the grant that Heiko talked about, I wasn't here then, so I don't know how that happened, but probably similar, the same thing that with Withlacoochee Technical can use that to say, hey, when they go to the Board of County Commissioners and the school board, we've got a letter that's already approved by the Aviation Advisory Board recommending that we try to go get these grants.
Okay.
And then maybe another letter, or it can be a combined letter that says, dear Board County Commissioners and the school board members, we've listened, we recommend, and this is, as an advisory board, we recommend that you all move forward, because we don't have the checkbook. This board is not really an authoritative board, I don't believe. I mean, we can go out there and say we think it's a great thing to do, but we don't have, it's going to be on the county commissioners and the school board to fund.
Yeah.
And possibly the letter, the grant that we help scoot along. Maybe that'll give them some traction more than it was before. But that's just my thought.
Yeah, so the question in my mind then would be, do we need to know exactly what the letters are going to say at this point in time, or can we make it a more general motion that says that we support this effort and that we're going to work with Withlacoochee Tech to determine exactly what it is that we can provide in terms of support, and whether that is in writing or in going and pleading with the school board or whomever, and then come back next month and with some drafts of some specific letters that we can write.
I think that would be good. I'm open, just as long as we just, like you said, we just put a target date on it and try to continue to push it forward.
So I'm proposing an amendment to the motion.
Okay.
That says that essentially that the Aviation Advisory Board supports the efforts being proposed and discussed today by Withlacoochee Tech, and that we will move forward with appropriate actions at our next meeting in terms of letter writing and whatever else Ms. Strickland or Ms. Whitehurst, depending on who you'd like to be today. I'm terrible with names sometimes.
And I'll second the amended motion.
Okay. Thank you. Any discussion on the amended motion?
The only comment I would say is that we need to add that on a quarterly basis for us to see where things are status.
And that we will ask Withlacoochee Tech or representatives thereof to brief us on a quarterly basis?
Yes.
Is that a timeline, something that's good for you? I mean, we don't want to, you do have so much to do, you folks, and this is several hours out of your day.
Well, I'm happy to come anytime. Of course, as things develop, maybe I might need to get with Mr. Regan and say, hey, I've got something that I can share that would be maybe before the quarterly update.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And moving forward.
Maybe updates minimum quarterly and more often as appropriate.
We're definitely going to want to keep everyone here informed of what the progress is.
Do you think a letter would, do you think that would help kind of keep things moving?
Absolutely. I think a letter of support will be wonderful. And then as grants come open, different grants have different criteria. So we need to have, letters of support for the different grants that would be specific. So the Florida Job Growth Grant, that's got one set of criteria. There's a cap, that's through Department of Transportation. The grants that I would be able to apply for through Department of Education are a capitalization grant. So that has a different set of requirements. And so as those grant cycles come up, then we'll be able to apply for those. I'll have to let you know when they're coming up. So one big one for me, I know is going to be released in July. We have the application from last year. We didn't apply for it last year because I started here, but I don't know, July 27th or something. And so, but already in mind, knowing, this is our funding source for us. Let's keep this, see who gets funded, and then we're going to be ready next year with our application. So we're already working on things like that. So definitely not going to get stagnant.
It sounds as though multiple letters at multiple different times would be a good idea.
Yeah.
So let me suggest then to the members of the board that I'll start working right away with Ms. Strickland as to what she would like right now. And we don't even need to wait until January to send that letter out. What we can do is draft something, and Todd can send it around to the board members and providing input privately to Todd, and then amalgamate that and amend the letter accordingly and send it out, keeping everybody apprised of what's going on.
Is
Is that okay? From a sunshine law standpoint.
Sure. Sounds good.
Okay.
again, with the sunshine law, I don't know if you can answer, but is it your intent to either solicit the Board of County Commissioners or the school board for some money? or are you gonna try to fund it all on grants? Because if you fund it all on grants, it's going to be like way down the road.
Yes, I mean, definitely time and money and everything. But the thing that I have the most control over is being able to be aware of the funding sources that might become available. Of course, it would be a hope to get a legislative appropriation request like the other technical colleges that I mentioned. I mean, that would be a dream. We might be outside of that funding cycle for right now because I've just been here just a short period of time. And then we've brought this conversation up again. But once the program is established, it'll be self-sufficient because it'll run off of tuition, and then we'll earn workforce dollars. So all we really need is the startup money that is going to be in the realm of, I don't know, about $3.5 million. And so we have a plan. If we could have a place, have a hangar, have a classroom, then we're just waiting on the money for the equipment. So in my mind, we're very, very close there. And so I want to keep everyone informed on that. So I have, and we do have sunshine laws, and Mr. Faraday can't talk to the board members, but I can. But and so we have had conversations. I don't speak for the board, just like he said. It was very positive, very a lot of excitement to move forward. I have also met with the superintendent and his executive team. Mrs. Boley met with them on Monday. We talked about the timeline, the scenarios, very much in line of let's move forward. So it seems like maybe a couple years ago, maybe it wasn't the time, but now it is, and we're ready. So.
Will you be available sometime next week to maybe we can talk on Monday or Tuesday about specifically what you'd like in
Absolutely.
a letter, what we can do for you right now in
Yes.
terms of letter writing, and we'll draft something, and we can go back and forth in email till you're happy with what we have, and then Todd can send it around to my fellow board members for their approval.
Yes, that would be wonderful. And Todd's been amazing to work with. Thank you, Todd.
I'll take it. Thank you.
Yes,
He
yes.
is amazing.
He
and
has.
It's too bad his
been.
boss is not here to hear you say that.
We'll roll it back on YouTube.
There you go. Yes, there you go. I mean, Todd has been amazing. He's helped us to think about some things that we hadn't thought about, thinking a different way. He has experience. Was it Florida Gulf? West Coast,
Fort Myers Technical College?
Yes, he has experience there. He's able to talk to us about his experience. Certainly, aviation is a passion of his, and he wants to see the vision for Citrus County and aviation move forward. And so it's nice to have his support with these types of things. And I just really appreciate you inviting us today.
No problem.
And when we reached out to see if we could have a meeting, he was like, absolutely. How fast can we have a meeting to talk about these things? So, and it's really nice to have somebody in leadership who has experience from a technical college, because it's different.
It is.
So Thank you for your leadership.
No problem. Thank you for yours.
We have a motion on the floor.
Could I ask Anna to let us know what the motion is, because she's added some things to it, so that she's clear?
What I have written right now is the AAB supports efforts for the AMP school at WTC and will move forward with appropriate actions to draft letters as necessary and accept briefings quarterly by WTC.
Quarterly or more often,
Okay.
or something to that
Quarterly
effect.
at minimum.
Yes.
That's good. Just quickly, we'll go ahead. Let's get through the motion.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion?
Does that cover the grant letter?
It covers any and all letters.
letters.
Yes.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay. Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Sir.
When we're involved with the projects, and you're very good about laying out the projects in a timeline, I'd like to reiterate, I know what he's saying about sometimes we talk about a project and then it's great, we're all excited, and it dies. I would like to see some type of, that we all come up with a timeline of expected projects or benchmarks that you would like to hit, and you'll know what those are, the dates and stuff, so that we can sit down then and say, you know what, we're making progress in this direction, and there's accountability. than to all of us, that we're all involved in that. And the other thing I would say to Joe, do y'all have a lobbyist that works for the school board? Okay, because from the city of Inverness, that's an essential part of our business is if you don't have the lobbyists, you don't get the grants. So anyway, that we work hand in hand with them.
I was on the phone with them today.
Good. Okay.
And in regards to the timeline, I think in your folders, there's a very vague timeline of what we plan to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nothing specific dates, just a checklist. Major milestones.
Okay.
We're just very
we put
early
that on
in
this?
process,
Or
and
we-
very quickly.
Agenda every month we
So
go
we don't
over
want
it?
to release that. We don't want to release that start date.
We're not necessarily going to be looking at it every
Yeah,
month.
that's fine.
Yeah.
At least we're making progress toward that goal.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Anything else on this particular subject? A few more housekeeping items to get through. Tower updates, none. Airport security, we changed the code. How am I
No.
supposed to get in the middle of the night now?
No, at Inverness Airport, one of the gates, the keypad was just busted. Just letting you guys know that the keypad's been replaced, but the code remains.
Gotcha. Okay, open forum for board members to discuss aviation-related topics.
I would like to discuss right rudder.
Okay.
All right. Last meeting we had, Zach Purvis came up and said that he is now the owner and manager of Right Rudder Aviation. Under the contracts, he is supposed to notify the county or the lawyer, legal or purchasing somebody that they are what they have taken over and what they're doing. And as far as I know, that has not gone through. Is that correct?
That is correct. We have no.
So right now, technically, the Board of County Commissioners has canceled the Right Rudder contract. It terminated it.
Terminated the lease, yes.
So technically, we don't have an FBO at legal FBO at Inverness. And under contract law, if we don't make any decisions or we don't take any action, by ratification, they can do what they want, and it is considered accepted by our inaction. So what I'd like to know is what they plan to do, what's going on, and then the other question becomes one of, Zach has a company called Aviation Ape, which does leasing of aircraft. He's saying he does leasing and sales of aircraft. If you see it on Facebook right now. My question is then, is that Aviation Ape? And if that's the case, under the contract, even if we said the contract is still valid or they want to reinstate it, you have to put in writing that you have subleased or you have changed somebody else coming in. So what's going on?
It's a pretty open question. I will say it's a legal matter, and I
No,
can't
I
speak on
agree.
to
It's
that
it's
case,
a legal issue, but the big question is, without somebody from purchasing, legal, or the Board of County Commissioners dealing with them, right now we're in a limbo situation with the FBO in Inverness.
When it comes to any business that's an aeronautical business that's coming onto our airports, because of our rules and regulations, minimum standards that have been approved a few months ago, we have to follow that. FAA acknowledges that as well, and they're holding us to that standard. So a new business comes in, one of the first things they're supposed to do is who they are and provide a permit for their services they want to provide at the airport.
I'm not saying that he's not qualified, but when you do a contract or so, you have a novation agreement, one coming the other, or an assignment. That's one. The second issue is you want to know whether or not they are financially stable enough to pay your rent and everything else. And right now, as far as I'm concerned, we have nothing.
Understood.
Well, to that point, what was the process by which Crystal Air Group was sold to James Chen 5 years ago? I mean, I know you weren't here, but was this something that was approved by the Board of County Commissioners? Was it something they were notified of? Or did Tom and Goody simply exercise their right as private citizens and private business owners to sell their company with the proviso that the new owner would would assume the requirements of the lease and so forth.
I know that there's a lease from 2017, I believe, from Crystal Aero Group. I don't have it in front of me. Before that, I'm sure there was an amendment, but I'd have to take a look at that history and see how that went down. But I know that there's that lease definitely went through purchasing and then to the board.
To your point, it's I don't know the answer to your question. All I know is that, as you say, Mr. Purvis came and briefed us that he had purchased a majority share of Right Rudder. Right Rudder remains Right Rudder, and are there any specific names such as Andy Chan on the lease, or is it simply Right Rudder Aviation?
The lease itself, I remember, has Andy Chan's name and Charles Lawson.
As primary owners, as managers, or
Primary, that's
okay. And so then I guess the question is, does the lease normally the lease would be amended to the extent that, but
and under government contract laws, especially the state of Florida, one of the issues that goes through is I'm not a lawyer, so I'm a contract specialist. So my question becomes one of, under that is that we do an innovation agreement or an assignment or something to accept the rules. But since the board had terminated the contract with Right Rudder, we're in limbo. That's the way I look at it.
I think there's a lawsuit going on.
No, there's a lawsuit going on. But that lawsuit was with Andy Chan and Right Rudder, and I don't know if Andy Chan has anything to do with Right Rudder anymore.
So the lawsuit
makes the other issue.
The lawsuit is ongoing, and you know you say that you own this, and I say you don't. And so I take you to court over that. At that point, it really is in limbo, and it's up to a judge to decide who, in fact, owns something. That's this thing that we're arguing about.
Somewhere along either legal, purchasing, or the Board of County Commissioners needs to at least acknowledge that what's going on with Right Rudder, as far as the FBO is concerned.
Is there
I'm not saying that they're there.
Right.
Something.
So let me finish what my thought. So to the extent that this lawsuit is in fact pending, arguably whether or not the lease is terminated is now a legal matter. The county says it is. Right Rudder says it's not, and it's now up to the judge to decide. It's appropriate for me to talk about what I have done myself and. In interest of full disclosure, I've got to tell the board that I have a family member that's an employee of Right Rudder. So that's neither here nor there as far as I'm concerned. My concern is for a regular, ongoing enterprise that provides services at the Inverness Airport. You know, having a well-functioning FBO. So to that end, I've had some conversations with Mr. Purvis. And I've toured the facility since he's taken it over. He's made a lot of improvements to it. I got to say the place looks pretty sharp, and he seems to be doing a lot of things to make it that much more of a thriving business than it was before. We can argue about how thriving it was before. In any case, he's doing all the things, as far as I can tell, that the county would want. Hang on. And so he asked me if I had any suggestions for him as to how to wade through this legal morass. And what I recommended to him, and this is based on some conversations I had with retired justices of the court and so forth, is he should direct his lawyer. Presumably his lawyer is now, Right Rudder's lawyer is now his lawyer. Direct the lawyer to request mediation. Judges would love mediation. They would always rather mediate than adjudicate. And so to the extent that that he does that, and that the judge looks over at the Citrus County side and says, yes, what do you guys think? And to the extent that Citrus County side says, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Saves a whole lot of taxpayer money. And
there's nothing, I have no arguments with that. All I'm just saying is something needs to be identified, because right now we have a person running with a board of county commissioners saying, the lease is terminated. So where are we?
Right. Well, where we are is this legal morass that my recommendation to him, and quite frankly, my recommendation to the powers that be at the county, are to ask the judge for mediation, and assuming that turns out to be a favorable result, then the legal morass will be done. But in the meantime, somebody's got to step up. In my view, be the big boy and say, yeah, we want to go into mediation. It's going to save you and me a whole lot of money, and it's going to keep what currently seems to be a well-run FBO there serving the public in that side of the county.
And I'm not arguing that he isn't qualified. I'm just wondering what our status is and what's going through.
Is that something that somebody could brief the AAB on next meeting?
Yeah.
Somebody from legal? I don't know who that person is. It's not you. It's not Carlton. I mean, it might be somebody as high up as Steve Howard or Denise.
Lynn. Denise Lynn.
Thank you, Denise Lynn.
Speculation is pretty wide open on the whole thing, right? So I would like to hear from the Board of County Commissioners on what's going on. Either through like Steve, like he suggested, or somebody else to say, this is where we're at. I mean, because everybody's been asked that question. It'd be nice to have a single answer or close answer.
Something more than you can give. I understand you can only say it's legal matters out of my hands, and what we're looking for something that to hear from somebody out of whose hands it is not.
Understood. To me, I guess I can look at this as two separate things. The lease is a legal matter that's being handled by the professionals, and then there's the airport, the security, the obligations that we have, and for grant assurances, things like that, operations. That's a separate subject. So what I can do is bring this up to my chain of command and brief them and take it from that. That's really all.
That's all I'm asking. Is
yes, sir.
And even if they say, okay, we want to leave Zach Purvis and Wright Rudder where it is for the time being until the lawsuit is over with, at least we have some kind of legal FBO, because what happens if something happens in the insurance or anything else, or an accident? Right now, technically, the FBO doesn't exist. Well, I mean, it does it, but legally.
Understood.
Good enough. Thanks. Anything else? Having said that, I'd like to throw the meeting back open to the public. If anybody has any comments they'd like to make on anything you heard today, anything that you want to get me for Christmas, anything like that, I've got a list.
2 lumps of
Yeah, I guess I'll can I say something?
Of course.
Everybody, my name's Tim Thompson. I'm one of the hangar tenants.
Okay.
I met Todd before. I don't know if you remember. Just have a question that I didn't hear the answer come out there with the Wright Rudder thing. Is there an end date to their contract? Do they have an expiration date to their contract, at which point it may or may not be renewed? I don't know how long their contract is, and the reason I ask as a tenant is I'm writing the check, but I'm not sure. Am I writing the check to Wright Rudder still? Are we in that? I'm in the hangar complex that's not county run, but the ones that he sublets. And then my second part to that is, if we sign another contract with Wright Rudder or anybody else, will we have them be in charge of maintaining hangars? Because I've got some problems that I need to discuss probably with you or Wright Rudder or whoever with my particular hangar. You know where the end date of the contract is. That's the big one.
So what, Todd, what wasn't it a year or 2 years ago that Wright Rudder's contract was extended 5 years?
Yes.
That is correct. So
Okay.
the end date would be.
So it's got about 3 years to go. The normal contract, it was terminated for breach of contract at the end of June, beginning of June, end of June.
I think it was the end of May or June 1st.
Okay, June 1st. And Wright Rudder immediately sued to alleging that the termination was not proper. And so they are there now. Their rent payments go into escrow, And at some point in time, the county either says, okay, yes, you can stay, and all that money is kept by the county, or it goes back, just depending on how the whole legal thing works its way out. In the meantime, for all of the various tenants, you're continuing to pay rent to Right Rudder.
Without a lease, I don't have a lease. I don't know if anybody else does.
Okay.
Am I supposed to have a lease?
In any case, for every month
Yes.
you're there, you're renting from them, and and you're continuing to pay them, and they are continuing to hopefully provide you the same level of service.
Okay, that may have been an oversight on their part. If I am supposed to have a lease and I didn't know it, I've just been writing a check and they let me put my little airplane, have a roof over it. So that's fine. So maybe I'll contact them first before we get you involved and say, am I supposed to sign a lease if they've got one?
Well, I think that's why it's important to have somebody from the county come and talk to us to say, it affects the end user. He's the end user.
Understood.
Yeah, come by again. Last time you were there, we got interrupted, as you remember.
I do.
Okay, so we didn't get to finish our conversation, so come by again anytime.
But I saw you cleaning out your hangar, and I appreciate that. So you're taking care of, the assets. So
Did anybody see my hangar? Okay. All right, but that's all I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're very welcome. Anybody else? Okay, so our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, January 8th, 2:00, same place. On behalf of the Aviation Advisory Board, I'd like to wish you all a very, very happy holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Crazy Kwanzaa, and Festivus for the rest of us. And a Happy New Year as well. I'll take a motion to adjourn if there's nothing else.
Move.
Second. Somebody moved, somebody second. I'm going to go with Carl. Fair enough. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.